9. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Good evening, hope you're all having a good night, having a good Monday. I'm alright myself. Been feeling a bit groggy today, just been trying to readjust my sleeping patterns somewhat, because I'll be doing a special stream in a few days. But before then, I'm going to be doing something a bit different tonight before I play some video games, so I don't know if anyone remembers this, but in the run-up to E3 last year, I did a series of watching back old Nintendo E3s. I think I started with 2004 and I stopped at 2009. So why not? We're technically not getting E3 next month, but I think most companies are going to be announcing games next month anyway, Nintendo included. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a direct in June. So you know what? Why don't we just watch some old Nintendo E3 stuff? We're going to do 2010 today, and over the course of the next couple weeks, we'll watch the next few. I think 2012 or 2013 is the last live press conference they do before they started doing the direct format. Maybe from that point onward, I could just watch some directs. Maybe I won't watch all the directs. Maybe the E3 centric ones. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet, but we're going to watch the 2010 E3 conference tonight. I forgot which one this is, what games are in this one. All I remember is, you can see my mouse cursor, all I remember is that the Wii was still around at the time. The Wii U wasn't out for another couple years, so maybe Skyward Sword is in here. I don't remember if Skyward Sword was this one or the next one or whatever, but yeah, I guess we'll find out. This was around the time where the Wii was ridiculously successful to the point that Nintendo was getting. See, here's the thing about Nintendo. I love them, but they can get pretty complacent when they're really successful. And I think in the back half of the Wii, that kind of shown a little bit, where they were not putting out as many big games. I don't know, it was kind of weird, and we're kind of seeing that with the Switch as well, to a degree. I mean, not as bad as the Wii, mind you, but it was getting a bit to that point with the Wii for a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a bunch of overly casual games in this presentation where it's like, oh hi, Wii Sports gamers, look at this. Yeah, you old people in the old folks' home, this is for you. This is not for the hardcore gamers. But yeah, I think Reggie's in this as well, so that'll be the best thing about this. So let's get started. So again, 2010 is when this press conference happened. I may pause every now and again to give commentary, but I'll mostly just keep it running.
Please welcome Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yep. There he is. I miss Reggie. I think he steered Nintendo in a pretty good direction for a while.
Good morning. To all of you here in the Nokia Theater, and to all of you watching online. For gamers, this is the best week of the year. You can just feel the buzz in the air. And as usual, that buzz begins with technology. After all, E3 is the land of touchscreens and big screens, HD and 3D, button control, motion control, and no controller at all.
Yeah, remember 3D? I mean, this might actually be the conference where they show the 3DS, but remember 3D TVs and shit like that? That was a passing fade. Or a fading... What was the expression? It was a passing fad, not fade. I'm good with words.
The headlines just seem to spin on technology.
Oh, so I can't turn the volume up any louder than
But
this.
this morning, let me adjust that perspective just a little bit.
What I could do, actually, is increase the volume of... Hang on a second. I'm going to increase the volume of OBS slightly. Let me know if this is too loud or not.
Because technology is only a tool.
I'll turn that down a little bit. Right.
The end
I think that might be a little bit
the
better.
The thing that does matter is the experience. And the best experiences always come when technology and game design are perfectly matched. Here at E3,
Couple of
with
claps.
thousands of people battling to see and try everything at once, considering the experience is the only real way to make sense of it all. And this year, we intend to show you how Nintendo, once again, is raising the bar in terms of game experience. Let's begin with details on an experience you've been waiting for.
All right. Oh, this might be Skyward Sword. Is this the E3 press conference where the demonstration goes horribly wrong? Yep, this is Skyward Sword. Like, I remember them, like, this might be the conference where, like, they do a demonstration and then there was, like, a lot of technical problems when they were showing it off. Something about the Wii Remote desyncing. Also, speaking of that wasn't me. That was the video that did that.
Hello, and welcome to Nintendo's E3 presentation. Today, I will introduce the newest version of Zelda made exclusively for Wii, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I think this game will be remembered as a key turning point in Zelda's long history. At E3 2004, I stood on stage holding this sword and this shield.
One of the best
Adventures
E3
in
moments,
Hyrule
in my
would not be
opinion.
possible without this sword and shield, and the items used to solve puzzles, and the map system used to confirm your location. In one sense, the history of the Legend of Zelda series has been a history of refining the interface that makes using these complicated mechanics easy. For many years, I've been asking if there wasn't a way to create a Legend of Zelda game that would give you the freedom to use your sword and shield and items freely and naturally. The answer I've come to this time is this. The Wii Remote and Wii Motion Plus. When we were making Swordplay for Wii Sports Resort, I spoke with our team and I said, this is it. Let's make the next Zelda with this. With a sword this light, you can move it around as you like. And while in Twilight Princess, you use the nunchuck to move Link, this time you will use it to raise your shield. And Wii Motion Plus isn't used only for sword control, it also makes using items very natural. On the bottom here is the B button. You just press this button to choose your item. But you know, it's kind of hard to understand without seeing the game screen, isn't it? Oh, I know. Hey, Bill, are you on stage?
Yeah, right here.
Can you help me out here? So
Did someone
why
in
don't
the
you just
audience
explain the
shout
rest?
Bill as well?
I'll do my best.
Good luck.
Right, here we go. Get ready for an
Okay.
amazing
Good
demonstration.
morning, everyone.
This is gonna be great.
I'm here to show you Zelda. So the Wii Remote, you see with Wii Motion Plus, the Wii Remote becomes my sword, right? And I've got my nunchuck, and that's going to be my shield. Oops, there we go. Oh, so I can swing kind of at
Images
any
taken
angle here.
before disaster.
Ow, what? This is strange. Hang
Hey
on.
there, Moo.
Ow, what's going
Bill,
on? What?
Bill, that's not right.
What?
You've got to hold the shield more like a shield,
Wait.
and the sword like this.
Okay, that part is scripted, I think.
So,
It's when they do the real part of the demonstration, it like goes horribly wrong.
Good morning.
I always like when Miyamoto just shows up on stage, it's always fun.
You know what? I think I'll explain it myself.
I think that might be a good idea.
Let me know if the audio mixing is okay, by the way, because I had to make some adjustments because the video was quiet.
Okay,
Okay?
that I can do.
そう。じゃあ日本語でやります。これね、具体的に説明するともそんな
So
に難しくはない
I'll
んですよ
explain it in detail, but it's really not that difficult.
本当に
It's pretty good.
剣
Alright.
と盾を持っているというイメージを
Just
してください
imagine that you're holding a sword and a shield yourself.
で使うのはこのリモートの AB ボタン。
And all the buttons that you're going to use are going to be the A and B button on the Wii remote and the C and Z buttons on the
あとはほと
nunchuck.
んどのアクションですね。
And other than that, all the actions are going to be done using realistic motions.
でまずこうゼルダに大事なのは、
So what's important for a Zelda game is, of course,
剣ですね。剣はこの右手を振れば
so if you just shake your right hand, the sword will come out.
I never picked up the Switch version of Skyward Sword, like Skyward Sword HD, because I played the original one on the Wii, and I'm not going to say it's a bad game, but
And if you
I
press the Z button,
certainly
you'll target.
didn't enjoyed myself the most with that game. I love Twilight Princess infinitely better than this game.
And you can see the sword following my movements.
I hope that a lot of the issues with the Wii version was fixed up and fine-tuned in the Switch version,
Let's
but
take a look at these mushrooms here.
I think, honestly, my memory of that game kind of kept me away from, like, purchasing the HD version. Maybe I'll buy it when it's on sale, I don't know.
It's very simple.
さあ敵が出てきましたよ。デグババが錯覚してくれて
Okay, here we see the Dekubabas popped
これ
up
は
here.
口のある方向に切らないとダメなんですね。だか
Now
ら
you
上
have
か
to
ら
pay
行っても
attention because the only way to defeat it is to cut it in the same direction that its mouth is open.
I notice how he's slashing a couple times and it's not registering.
横向きに切ります
I don't know if you caught that there.
ビルの方が上手かな
Maybe Bill's a little bit better at this than I am.
横に切りますじゃあ次ですね
Okay, so here, I have to cut vertically. Oh.
Oh. You see how that's not exactly matching? Sometimes it registers, sometimes it
手を
doesn't.
高くかざすと
Now, when
Apparently
you
there
hold
was
the
like
sword straight
wireless
up,
interference, which is the reason why this was
you can
happening.
see it charge up with the power from the
チ
heavens.
ェーンビームですね
And then you
I
can
think
let
at
loose
one
sword
point
beams.
Bill asks the audience to turn their
You can
phones
also
off
do
or some
spin
shit
attacks
like
by
that,
swinging both hands together in the same direction.
which just makes it all the more embarrassing that he has to like actually tell people to do that.
さ
Okay,
あなんか出てきま
there's
したね
something over here, I see. What's this?
目玉がですね
There's an eyeball on that door.
この目玉はどうも剣を見てるみたいなんですね
That looks kind of... Oh,
見ました
look at that.
じゃあ
Oh,
こ
if I try to cut it, it
う目
closes
を
the
回してみ
eye.
ましょう
But it's looking at the tip of my sword.
ぐるぐるぐるぐるぐる
Maybe I can confuse it. There we go.
こんな感じで壇上に入ります
It's kind of silly, but fun.
さあここから本番ですよいよいよ
Okay, now the real fight begins.
今度は盾を使います
Okay, this time I'm going to use the shield.
盾は右手を振ります
So with just the left hand, I'll give a
You
quick
think they
shake,
would have
raise
noticed?
my shield.
オクタロックが出
Like
てき
when
ま
they
す
do in press conferences, they do like what do you call practice versions? Like they rehearse it. They do like rehearsals.
よし
Then I can knock the
But when you
rocks
do a
back.
rehearsal, it's just like the few people on stage. Like there's no people in the audience with their phones at that time, so I guess they didn't account for,
There we go.
you know, when they're doing the real thing. There's going to be so many people with like phones and shit.
よしあれもう一個
It's weird because they've done live demonstrations before and it never happened then. I wonder if it's something to do with the Wii Motion Plus specifically,
木も切りますよ
You can, of course, cut the grass.
because
as
they're
well as trees.
demonstrating that in particular. I don't know. It's weird.
縦に切っておきましょうか
Because I've seen them like do Wii Sports stuff before and that's never, you know, caused any issues.
Uh-oh, we've got some vocal blends here.
これはね
Now, if you look at the vocal blends, you'll notice that they're
剣で
protecting
シールドをし
themselves
てる
with
ん
their
ですね
swords.
だ
They're
から
trying to block
剣
my
の方から切っ
attacks.
たらダメです
So I have to swing my sword in a way that gets around their blades.
よし剣を
I
構え
probably
たら
mentioned this a year ago when I streamed like them like showing Wii Sports Resort, but
薬飲みましょう
I just find it funny how Nintendo inadvertently admitted that the Wii motion controls were not that great because they had to, you know, make an add-on for the Wii remote to make it work better. Oh, hey there, Pixel. Thanks for the host.
よし
Again, hosting notifications don't work. I don't know why.
よしこういう感じですねちょっと手こずりましたね
It took a little bit more than I expected, but...
さあこれでねあと A ボタンの説明しましょう
Now,
か
when you're in battle, let me explain
A ボタ
actually
ン
the
で
A
も
button here.
今
When
度は
you're
ね
in
走り
battle,
回るんですね
in targeting, you can use the A button
ヌンチャクで転がります
to jump. When you're not in battle, you can run. You hold the A button down to run around and shake the nunchuck to
これで
roll.
ヌンチャクで崖も駆け上がります
And then you can also run up cliffs.
I think
and
the
walls
part
and
where
things like
the
this.
motion desyncing becomes a real problem is when they show off the
Now
flying
let me go into
beetle.
the different items.
アイテム今までいろんな
I think we're about to see that actually.
Typically, what we've done is assigned an item to a
今度は
specific
皆さん
button.
こうアイテムをポケットに入れてるってい
For
う感
this
じをイ
game,
メージ
just imagine that all of your items are somewhere in a pocket.
でポケットに手を入れるのは B ボタン
To put your hand in the pocket, you hold down the B button.
これで手首を返すだけでいろんなアイテ
And
ム
then you just kind of move your hand around in the air, and you can pick any item that you want.
爆弾とか
So you can grab bombs, or
ムチとか
you can grab a
いろん
whip
な
this
アイテム
time.
に持ち帰られます
We'll explain that in a moment.
さあ片付けてちょっと行きましょ
But we'll jump down here in the meantime and go through all the items one by one.
う例えばムチ
I remember shortly after this E3, the demo build that was like being shown at the show floor actually got
What's nice is that
leaked.
this time,
Like some like crazy motherfucker somehow managed to like dump it and like release it to the public.
And that moves the cursor to aim.
I don't know how they did it, but they
And
did.
Tap the A button to shoot. Nope. Oh.
Great aiming.
These are some fast spiders.
よし
Okay.
じゃあもう剣で
I'll just take this one out with my sword.
剣で切りましょ
There we go.
う今度はねいつもの爆弾です
So
ね
next we'll take out some bombs.
This conference is 1 hour and 20 minutes, by the way. We've watched the first 12 minutes of it so far.
ねでもう一個持って今度
You
は
can
上
just
に投げ
tap
る
the tap the B button to oh.
もう一回薬飲みましょう
Let's
か
try this again. So you tap the B button to take another one out. Oh, well, I guess we'll take another one
持ってま
out.
すじゃあこう投げましょうね
Raise the Wii remote to throw it.
よし
Oh? Oh? Yeah, you see how when he does the downwards slash motion, it doesn't fucking work half the time?
That one's.
じゃあ今度はね転がしてみます
And then you
下
can
から
also drop your hand and roll a bomb.
Bomb bowling.
And if you're good, you can put a little spin on it too.
さあそしたら今度は弓矢ですね
Okay,
弓
next
矢は
we'll
ちょっと
try
ね
the,
以前より
the bow.
凝ってるんですね今度はこうして構えます
Note the jankiness of the cursor up there.
弓矢を構えますそして
So
これ
Oh,
ごめん
oof.
なさい
Look at how...
having a little interference here.
誰かワイヤレスを使ってますか
Yeah,
Anybody
this
out there
is
using wireless? Anybody?
this is where it becomes a problem.
リハーサルではとても上手にできたんです
Everything went really well in our rehearsals. You guys need to turn off all your wireless devices.
もう一回やりましょ
There we go.
Fucking embarrassing. I wonder if this was the reason that Reggie fired Bill
Yeah, we're
Trinan.
getting some serious interference here, so.
Oh, hey, Bill, you're fired.
うはい
Okay.
弓矢はね弓矢を構えて
So with the bow, what you do is you press the B button, you choose your item, and then you hold down the C button on the nunchuck.
でこう弓を構えますね
Oops.
弓矢はごめんなさい
Oh, I'm sorry about this. There we go.
正面に構えて
So
C
you
ボタ
face
ンで引きま
forward,
す
you hold it back, pull back on the C button and on the nunchuck,
離すと撃つんですけ
and then
ど
when you let go, it fires an arrow.
ちょっと無線がおかしいように思います
But,
I feel bad for Miyamoto because he's probably like sweating bullets right now.
We'll try explaining one new item that we
これ
have
カ
here
ブト
today.
ムシなんですけども
This is a beetle.
It's like he's showing off his like newest vision, and then shit like this happens. And it's like
You just tilt the Wii
in his
remote
mind,
to
he's
control
thinking,
it.
"Oh God, no! Don't do this to
で
me."
ですね今度は
And you can see that the scenery in the game this time is very beautiful.
アイテムを取って帰ったりできるんですけどもこの
But yeah, I remember them having
Also,
issues
pick
aiming
up
the flying
items.
beetle as well when they were doing
Let's
this.
see.
こっち行きましょうか
We'll run over here.
飛んでいけ
I think there's something I can pick up this way.
お
Ah. We'll
ジル
try,
がやった方が良かったですかねよしカブ
there
ト
we
ムシ
go.
で
We'll
飛ん
try
でい
this
き
one
ま
more
す
time.
I'm assuming the interference is also fucking up with their ability to turn with the Wii remote.
All right, we'll go on to the next item.
Yeah.
さあ諦めましょうかよし諦めて
So we'll give up on the beetle and change over to the.
I can already imagine the articles that were being written about this game at the time.
ムチを
Okay, so next is the. As we
Light to
mentioned earlier,
Zelda
there's
is a
whip,
broken
whip it out,
mess.
And with the whip, it changes its movement depending on how you whip it out. You can whip out, grab items, pull them back. You can use it to cut the
これ
grass.
ですねでムチをせっかく持ったのでなんかちょっとちょっかい出してみましょうか
Local clown
we'll
Phil's
use the whip
arms.
to kind of have a little fun with this guy over here.
Has anyone ever photoshopped Miyamoto with like fucking clown makeup? I feel like that's something that someone has to have done at some
I can't
point.
defeat him with the whip, but what I can do is very quickly and easily switch to my sword.
In fact, you know what? I'm gonna
So with the
look
new
that up.
Motion Plus,
素早くこう持ち
it's
替えられ
very
ます
easy to switch
今度ピー
quickly
スが出てきましたね
between
ピースは
items.
ねすごい嫌な敵なんですけどこれはムチに素早く持ち替えます
Now here we also have these bat-like creatures, the keys. They're kind of pretty pesky. You
No.
can quick flick of the
No, I
wrist
don't
with the
seem to
whip,
see
you can
one.
take them all down at once.
はいちょっとね無線の調子が悪いのか うまくできませんでしたけど、本当に快適に操作できます。約
So
束します。
I don't know if it's because of the wireless interference, but we did have a few technical difficulties. But I can assure you that when you play it on the show floor, you're going to see that everything plays very smoothly and very cleanly, and that the new item system is very streamlined and feels great.
でぜひともね、今日ショーフロアでこれを体験して帰ってですね、
So I hope you'll all give it a try on the show floor because it is here, and hopefully get a taste of what it feels like to adventure in Hyrule yourselves.
本当にハイラルを冒険してる気分になってほしいと思い
It's
ます。
like you've gone there and done all the things that Link has done yourself.
それから大事なお知らせ。
And then one more important thing I need to talk about.
今もうほとんど最終段階に入ってるんですけども、どうも今年いっぱいぐらい。
So we've been working very hard on implementing these new ideas into the game, and development looks like it's going to take through the end of this year.
来年には皆さんにお届けできますので楽しみにし
So
て
you
く
can
だ
all
さ
look forward to playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword next year.
い。ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Did the game come out in 2011 or did it come out 2012? I don't remember what year this game released. Okay, when you see the video flickering like that, that's not me that's doing that, that's just the video itself. I'm not sure why. But yeah, I feel bad for those two, just like being put on the spot like that with technical issues, and it's like they're trying to explain, like they're trying, like Miyamoto's trying to work through it, and Trin's trying to explain, oh, that's not supposed to happen. We swear our product is not a broken hot garbage. I mean, to be fair, it's not, but you know, it's definitely indicative of like the way that this game, you know, like prioritizes like motion controls. And just to reiterate though, not one of my favourite Zelda games. It's good, but in my opinion, I think I like Twilight Princess way better than this game. Which is why I wouldn't mind Twilight Princess coming to the Switch. Even though I have it on the Wii, and even though I have it on the Wii U, I'd buy it again.
Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword with Wii Motion Plus is just the top line of our E3 story today. There's a lot more to come. Our goal is to provide new experiences for everyone. For the moment, let's deal with what Mr. Miyamoto has said is the highest goal of game design. Entertainment that can cross culture and age and gender. Today, we want to first introduce you to titles that are squarely based on this goal of universal appeal. Let's start with the wide world of sports, where developers can choose between ultra-realism or over-the-top arcade fun. In the first case, the moves are real, the characters look real, and there are real-life stars on the packaging. We all know the names. Great franchises like Madden NFL, and Pro Evolution Soccer, and MLB 2K. On the other hand, some prefer the arcade style that began with NBA Jam.
I've never played NBA Jam. I've heard that game's fun.
You'll see a new exclusive version for Wii on the show floor. But over the years, one humble hero has taken us along to the hardwood and the clay court, to the fairway, the diamond, and the pitch. And this year, Mario the Sportsman stays true to his roots, but swings back into action in some venues where even he's never competed before.
Oh, is this Mario Sluggles? Or is this Mario Tennis? Oh no, it's volleyball. Didn't we talk about this the other day, Pixel? What's this game called again? Mario Sports Mix? Yeah, didn't Square Enix make this one? I've never played this, by the way. I don't know if this one was any good. I mean, it looks good. Something just silly about seeing Bowser fumble like that in front of Mario. Are you going to try the Mario baseball game someday? I don't even know the rules of baseball, to be honest.
Mario Sports Mix is pure fun, and you'll be in the action with Mario next year. You don't have to be a game expert to understand its potential popularity. But even among the experts, sometimes the common wisdom isn't so wise. Let me give you a few examples. Last year, you heard people predict that Wii momentum was starting to wane. Then, guess what? Last December in America, Wii set the all-time record for sales of any video game system of any kind in a single month. Others claim that all those casual Wii owners don't buy games. But somehow, more games have sold for Wii in the 43 months since launch than any other platform ever over the same launch period. Then, there's a recent NPD study showing that Wii owners actually play their systems more often than other owners. And at the same time, according to the research firm Ipsos, nearly as many people intend to buy a Wii in the next 6 months as the other two home platforms combined.
Remember the first couple... Oh, that's a great face, by the way. I remember the first couple years of the Wii where it was just really, really, really fucking hard to get one of those things because of how stupidly popular it was. I was lucky I was able to pre-order one for release day.
Underlying all those false assumptions about Wii is a mistaken belief that many new Wii owners just play Wii Sports or Wii Fit for a while and then lose interest. But that simply isn't the case. The reason is the popularity of intermediate or bridge games that usher new players toward the world of gaming.
Right, here's the casual stuff that I mentioned
Mario
earlier.
Kart does that.
Oh.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii does that. Mario Kart has sold more than 22 million copies.
Oh, Mario Kart was already out at the time.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii, more than 14 million copies around the world. And now, we'd like to show you our next bridge title that moves consumers along their gaming journey. It begins with the more than 177 million Mii characters created around the world. And every one of them is invited to play. Let me introduce
is this Wii Party?
to Wii Party.
Yeah, I remember this game.
Wii Party, an all-new party game for Wii that puts you in the middle of the action and redefines multiplayer fun for everyone.
It's basically Mario Party minus Mario.
With 13 different party game modes, including Board Game Island, Balance Boat, and all new house party games that put the party in your living room.
Wii animals.
You'll interact with family and friends.
Or me animals, rather.
Interact with the game. 13 party games, over 70 different mini-games.
I like how the audio went crustified. That was not me, by the way. Again, that's the video.
Wii Party, coming this holiday.
I wonder if this video was like that for content
Wii
claim
Party
reasons.
is yet another Nintendo game that will drive social interaction, and that phenomenon has worked for third parties as well. Last year, that was proved by the breakthrough dance hit, Just Dance. And this year, it's time to get up and get down again, only on Wii.
Didn't the very last Just Dance game came out like a year ago on the Wii? Oh yeah, they muted the music, right, thank God, no content claim. Yeah, we don't need that here on the stream. So yeah, Ubisoft made 1 million Just Dance games, and I believe the very last Wii game was a Just Dance game that came out in 2020 or 2021. I could be wrong, but I believe I heard something along those lines. going to turn that down just to be safe. Alright. Like, most of that was muted, but then that part came up, so I got worried. But yeah, I don't give a shit about Just Dance, not really for me. I don't know if Ubisoft, like, still, like, makes Just Dance games in general, or if it was just a Wii thing. God, how many Just Dance games existed? By the way, I like how they called it Just Dance 2, like this is the second game in the series, and then eventually got to the point where it's like, fuck it, just name it after a year. Just Dance 2017, Just Dance 2018, Just Dance 2019. It was like a fucking Madden game. More like maddening, am I right? So yeah, Just Dance has been around for a while.
When we delivered our E3 news last year, a lot of you got jazzed in a different way, hearing about a more intense title, a new Golden Sun for Nintendo DS.
Oh yeah, there was a Golden Sun sequel on DS, I forgot about that.
Subtitled Dark Dawn. You haven't heard or seen a lot since then, so let's fix that right now.
I've never played Golden Sun, so I heard it was good though. I heard it was a good JRPG, but I've never played either of these games. And I'm guessing this is like one of those Nintendo RPGs that hasn't sold that well. Because I think there was a reason why it took them so long to make a sequel, and then we've not had anything since then, so... I don't know, that's just my assumption, but it's probably not far off from the truth. Oh hey, look, touchscreen controls, because you know, it's a DS, we've got to include those. I mean, I don't mind touchscreen controls in some areas. Again, fun video cutting there. But I don't mind touchscreen controls if they're used sparingly, but there are places for it, and then sometimes you just don't need that shit at all. God, what was that game that came out as a launch title for the DS? Pokemon Rangers or something? Like, that game just destroys your touchscreen. Yeah, draw a million circles in like 5 seconds. Yeah, destroy the screen. Yeah, buy a new DS. There was also that other game, Pokemon Dash or something. Like the one where Pokemon are running around the racetrack. That one was also hell on your touchscreen.
Golden Sun Dark Dawn for Nintendo DS arrives this holiday season. And while Golden Sun brings back a lot of golden memories for its legions of fans, to millions of other gamers, golden has an entirely different meaning.
Oh, is this GoldenEye?
Greatest shooters of all
Yeah.
time.
I remember this.
Everybody. Set the standards for all video games in the future.
It was the first game that I could play multiplayer for 4 hours straight.
For me, it was the original. I mean, like, if you hooked it up now, I'd be down to play.
Let's say that after 13 years of gaming innovation, a new GoldenEye game is coming up.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Yeah, this was a big deal at the time. You have to keep in mind of like licensing and all that, so...
Let's go.
The only caveat, of course, is that they had to replace like Pierce Brosnan with the current... Wait, is he still the current one? I forgot his name. Current at the time, at least.
Nobody ever dive in too careful. Words to live by.
But yeah, I played this game. It was alright. It wasn't terrible. The online was pretty good as well, like for its time. You have to remember this was like the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, so all things considered it was a pretty solid online shooter. But the single player campaign was also a good little fun thing to enjoy. It felt a bit Call of Duty-ish, but it, you know, I'm not too bothered about that as long as it was enjoyable, which it was.
I remember it. You remember it. But there are people watching today who aren't old enough to understand the impact that GoldenEye had when it first hit the market. If you've never experienced it, get ready for a landmark gaming experience.
I remember hearing rumours that the original GoldenEye is getting a remaster re-release on the Xbox and possibly the Switch. I hope that's true, because I'd be down for that.
On the other hand, if you do remember those multiplayer nights, there's only one thing I need to say. Activision's new GoldenEye, exclusive to Wii, arrives in stores this holiday.
Exclusive for 1 year, mind you. It came to PS3 and Xbox 360 the following year.
There's an entirely different kind of hero whose global reach has spanned 8 decades. A mouse named Mickey.
Epic Mickey?
Our parents grew up with him. We grew up with him. Our kids and grandkids will grow up with Mickey Mouse. And now, this universally recognized and beloved character embarks on a new chapter to add to his legacy in a game exclusive to Wii. It's called Disney Epic Mickey, and it sets a new tone and a new direction for this world-renowned icon. Ladies and gentlemen, to give you all the details, please welcome Warren Spector, General Manager and Creative Director, Junction Point, and Adam Creighton, one of the producers of Disney Epic Disney.
Disney Epic Disney. So, I remember that, like, people looking forward to this game. I've never played it. I don't know if it's any good.
Here to give you a first look at Disney Epic Mickey, Junction Point and Disney Interactive Studios' upcoming Wii exclusive title for this holiday season. The game is set in a world honoring 80 years of Disney creativity, populated by forgotten, retired, rejected characters, movie locations, and theme park attractions from Disney's past. Welcome to Wasteland. It's a world both familiar and strange. A world as varied and memorable, we hope, as the real Disney lands and stories that inspired it. The land Adam is exploring today is called Ventureland. It's what we call a quest zone, where you talk to characters, learn about quests, buy tools and supplies. Here, for example, Adam is talking to Wasteland's version of Smee, learning what Mickey has to do to continue to make progress through the game, and also about an optional quest that he can do or not do later in the game. In Ventureland, in addition to Smee, you may recognize some other characters from the film Peter Pan, but a little changed, and some theme park locations, also a little different than you may remember, including the Swiss
Did anyone
Family
ever
Robinson
play this
Treehouse
game?
and
Like,
the
is it any good?
Some of the Disney inspirations can be hard to spot. I mean, Wasteland is really full of forgotten stuff.
The only thing I know
But
about it is it had like a
identifying it all
paint
as
and
part of
thinner
the
mechanic where you could like draw or erase
One thing
shit.
is
That
for
was all I
sure,
knew about it, but I never picked
No
this
one
one
will
up.
have any trouble identifying our hero, Mickey Mouse. For decades, he's been one of the biggest movie stars
Because
in
I
the world.
think the first one's
television
good.
celebrity.
Is the second one the shit one?
Constant
Or are
presence
they
at
both
theme
good?
parks,
Because I know there's a
friends,
second one on the Wii U.
But for all the success he's achieved, it's always felt to me, at least,
Oh,
that
look
he
at
hasn't
that
quite become the
janky
video game
pointer
hero he
again.
deserves to be. If my team and I have
The
our
IR
way,
pointer's like
that is about
going at 5 frames per second.
To take Mickey to new heights of video game success, we knew we couldn't just look back at Disney's history or Mickey's past triumphs. We had to allow Mickey to do things no other game character could do and offer players something they'd never seen before. Our key innovation lies in our core game mechanic, drawing and erasing, using Mickey's new ability to control the essence of his cartoon being, paint and paint thinner. Using paint and thinner, the way Adam is here, players can erase characters, objects, walls, plants, even the ground. Or they can restore everything to beautiful painted glory. In other words, players can dynamically change the game world to save it. But how each player decides to change the world makes a difference. Or, as I like to put it, play style matters. How you change your world, how you interact with other characters, that changes how the world looks, of course, but also how characters treat you, what they tell you, what they don't tell you, and how each character's story ends. Do you solve problems by using the power of thinner to erase and remove obstacles? Or do you solve problems with the power of paint, the creative power? Do you use paint or cleverness to turn enemies into friends, or do you simply defeat them? Do you take time and use precious resources to solve everyone's individual problems, or do you focus exclusively on saving Wasteland from the enemies that would destroy it? These are just a few of the options available to players, each with its own rewards and its own costs. At the end of the day, we want each player to feel like he or she has crafted a unique experience based on the choices made and the consequences of those choices. I believe the play style matters concept is the hallmark of modern game design. And the combination of Mickey Mouse and Nintendo means we can take that idea to a larger audience than ever before. Now that you've had a taste of a quest zone, let's check out another kind of map, Adam. You see, there are 3 location types in Disney Epic Mickey, a game that combines the best of adventure, platform, and role-playing games. There are places called action zones, where you'll engage in missions that can affect the way your story unfolds and change the lives of the characters you interact with. You'll have to visit the Disney Interactive Studios booth or the Nintendo booth to learn more about those, about Mickey's missions. There's plenty more to see than we're showing you here. For now, let's watch as Adam jumps into a movie screen to enter our 3rd location type. What you're about to see is called a travel zone, and it takes Mickey from one part of the wasteland to another. These are side-scrolling adventures, I bet you could tell that, directly inspired by beloved Disney cartoons and the classic console platforming games we all know and love.
Is
Here's
this
one
Steamboat
inspired by
Willie?
Steamboat Willie, the cartoon that introduced Mickey to the world. There are many more cartoons that appear in the actual game.
I mean, it's kind of a neat idea.
Closing,
Kind of reminds me of
let me just
Kingdom
say how
Hearts a little
excited I am
bit.
that Disney has allowed me to create a game featuring Mickey Mouse. It's the company's crown jewel. Not many people get the opportunity to work with a star of this magnitude, to be a part of an 80-year history of joy and laughter. With Disney Epic Mickey, we honor Disney's rich creative heritage, to be sure. But to be true to that heritage, we had to honor another aspect of Disney's history. Walt himself once said, "It's kind of fun to do the impossible." Innovation has been part of Disney's culture and Nintendo's from the start. To take Mickey to the top of the video game world, we had to find a balance of heritage and innovation worthy of Disney and Nintendo. I think we've done a pretty darn good job, but I invite you to see for yourself on the show floor. There are team members waiting there to show you more of the game. So show up, see how playstyle matters, experience paint and thinner for the very first time with our hero, Mickey Mouse. Thanks to everyone at Disney and Nintendo who made Disney Epic Mickey possible, and enjoy the show. Thanks very much.
I don't know why I never picked that game up. It was kind of neat. I'm going to have to look into whether or not that was a good game.
Thank you, Warren and Adam. And by the way, if you want more insight on the thinking behind Disney Epic Mickey, you can find an exclusive interview with Warren conducted by our global president, Mr. Satoru Iwata, at e3.nintendo.com. Of course, keeping popular franchises fresh calls for a lot of imagination inside Nintendo as well. In 1992, Mr. Iwata worked with a young developer named Masahiro Sakurai. Since that time, Mr. Sakurai has become famous in the gaming world for creating such diverse franchises as Smash Brothers and Kirby. It would be hard to conjure up anything more soft and cuddly than Kirby.
Is this
And yet
for Kirby's
somehow,
Epic Yarn, or?
he's managed to work his way into the hearts of a lot of hardened gamers. They know Kirby's got game. And he hasn't had a starring role in a Nintendo home console in 7 years. So we decided it was time for a return engagement.
It's either Epic Yarn or
The
Return to
questions were
Dreamland.
raised.
I'm not sure which
Should a
one.
new game be cut from the same cloth, stitched together from previous work?
It's Epic Yarn.
Should Kirby stick to his knitting?
Yeah,
Or
all those
spin a
clothing
yarn
puns there.
in a way that yarn has never been spun before. My friends, the answers are right here.
So yeah, if you didn't watch me play Kirby's Epic Yarn last year during the Kirby-thon, that's because I never got around to it. That was like one of the few games I didn't do during the Kirby-thon. I was kind of not sure if I was wanting to revisit this game, honestly. Because it's not a bad game, it's just very bland and boring. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like, you know how people make the unjustified criticism that all Kirby games are babby games? Yeah, well, this one actually is a babby game. You cannot die at all, no matter how hard you try. I mean, it's charming as fuck, but it's a little bit too easy, even for me. I don't know. I like how they insert, like, Poyo sounds into this trailer. Which you never hear during the game, by the way. At least I don't think you do. I could be wrong. But yeah, eventually we would get Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which I think came out like a couple years after this. I feel like, I mean, Kirby's Epic Yarn's fine, but, you know, you can't really compete against Return to Dreamland. That game was great. That was like the real return to form for Kirby.
Even with its new art style, the most obvious difference about Kirby's Epic Yarn is not the way it looks, but the way it works. Try it in the booth. I felt a difference, and I think you will too. Kirby's Epic Yarn is slated for release this fall.
The other thing about Epic Yarn is it doesn't even feel like a Kirby game for most of the time. I'm not going to go into explaining why, but
Dragon Quest IX from Square Enix debuted in Japan exclusively on Nintendo DS. It's become a phenomenon.
Oh, I remember this game.
Selling 4.2 million copies there.
I had this game.
This epic adventure, with you helping to decide its path, can make claims to being among the deepest and richest experiences ever launched on Nintendo DS. You could describe it just by the numbers. With 120 mini-quests and additional Wi-Fi mini-quests, over 300 monsters, over 900 items to customize your character, and an infinite number of randomly generated treasure maps. But that would be selling it short. What fueled the craze in Japan is the interaction between players. It practically begs for multiplayer action. Dragon Quest IX links you up with as many as 3 friends to quest together. And the social element doesn't end when you shut your DS. In tag mode, the game will independently seek out other nearby players, quietly adding new characters and new maps to your adventure. And when I say deep, let me add this. Chico, maybe the top Dragon Quest fan in our treehouse, has now logged more than 140 game hours, and she feels like she's just getting started. Gamers new to the franchise can get involved at their own pace, but watch out, you'll get sucked in too. Dragon Quest IX, exclusive to Nintendo DS, arrives here in the US in just 26 days.
I never finished that game, but I did like it. It was a pretty good game.
Passionate players on Wii will experience a signature moment with an old friend.
I would love to see... Oh no. Here we go. It's the game that almost single-handedly killed the Metroid franchise. But yeah, finishing my thought there, I would love to see Dragon Quest IX get like a remaster someday. Like, that was genuinely a really good game. Like, that was my first Dragon Quest game, and then I played Dragon Quest XI a couple years ago. I've always been curious about this game. I've never played it, but I remember hearing the reviews and a lot of people saying that this was, like, not that great. Like, apparently the gameplay mechanics are good, it's just the narrative of the game and, like, the characterization that people have problems with. Which, given that, you know, it's a Metroid franchise, that's kind of saying a lot. Like, I don't know all the nitty-gritty, but that's basically my surface-level knowledge of why so many people had a problem with this game. Didn't Team Ninja make this game? Maybe someday I'll check this game out of sheer curiosity. I mean, it could make for good streaming material, but I'm just gonna wait and see if we get that rumoured Metroid Prime remake on the Switch, because that might be happening real soon. Fingers crossed.
In Metroid Other M, what hasn't been lost is a sense of isolation and exploration that has always been the hallmarks of the franchise. But Nintendo and Team Ninja have also pushed
Team
the
Ninja
Metroid
worked on
franchise
this.
down emotional corridors it's never traveled before.
Team Ninja are the Ninja
Samus
Gaiden guys, if
returns
you didn't know.
when Metroid Other M for Wii arrives in stores on August 31st. As you know, Retro Studios in Texas has produced some great Metroid titles. But when they said they were ready for something new, we asked them to take one of the most treasured franchises in video game history.
Donkey Kong Country Returns.
If you listen, you can hear it coming.
Now, this game was fantastic. Definitely one of the best games on the console, no questions. Here's the thing about Retro, their output is very fucking low. Like, they don't make and release games all that frequently, but when they do, man, they fucking knock it out of the park every single time, and this game's no exception. I always love these levels, like the ones with the silhouette designs. Like, that was a nice, like, visual flair. I wonder if King K. Rool will come back for Donkey Kong. I could see a future Donkey Kong Country game where they do bring K. Rool back. But yeah, there was a lot of really creative level designs in this game. And it wasn't just like a case of rehashing like old mechanics, like there was some new stuff in here as well. Like you could grab onto like, you know, the walls and the ceilings and stuff. It was great. Certainly a game worthy of that title.
We're going back to the jungle this holiday. With the names we've talked about today, Donkey Kong and GoldenEye, Kirby and Metroid, you might find your game memories sliding into the past. But we're going to close today by throwing you in the other direction, far into the future of gaming. It was Super Mario 64 that first moved us into fully rendered game worlds. It was the Wii Remote that got us up off the couch and into a new world of game control. And today, as I mentioned at the outset, we're not just raising the bar, but we're making that bar extend far into the distance. 3D play on Nintendo 3DS is on the
here
way.
it is.
At CES this year, we started hearing a lot about 3D in your living room. And of course, an initial investment there is going to run into the thousands. And then there's the fact that nearly
Oh, that's what they were laughing at,
nothing to watch
that
yet
picture.
or play on big screen 3D. But maybe.
See, I heard the audience laugh and I got confused. I thought Reggie said something wrong, like he tripped on his words, but no, it was that fucking picture of, like, you know, the family wearing 3D glasses that got them.
Most of all, it's the glasses. You know, man, those glasses. And make no mistake, that kind of fashion-forward statement doesn't come cheap. Don't be surprised to pay a hefty amount of money for those glasses, and that's for every person in the room. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Well, no one but Nintendo. In fact, we think there's a better way, a solution that lets you take 3D along with you wherever you go, with ample game content available the first day on the market. And maybe, best of all, no glasses.
Yeah, I remember getting my 3DS on launch day. It was really neat, just like, you know, having like glasses-less 3D on a portable system. Yes, remember that era where it was just like every movie had to be in 3D for some reason. That fucking guitar riff. There it is, I think. Yeah, that's on that podium. I mean, that's a cool way to reveal it, but I think I like when Reggie pulled like a new console out of his pocket. I guess he didn't do it this time because people were expecting him to. There he is.
Everyone, this is Nintendo 3DS. I can't wait for you to try this.
I just got... Hang on. Right, let me pause that on. Hang on a second, I've got an idea. Hang on. This is gonna be stupid. I hope this is... I'm looking for a certain image. Nope, that ain't gonna work. You think you know what what I'm doing? You don't know that. Right, okay. Joke is now prepped. There you go. I wish I could rotate it on the fly, but I don't think you can do that in OBS. Not without going into like a sub-window to like manually convert it, but close enough. Like I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, that looks familiar. Anyway, yeah, let's continue.
I can't wait for you to try this. As you can see, it has two screens, and the upper screen has 3.5-inch widescreen display. And yes, it will show you full 3D graphics without the need for special glasses. As you know, Nintendo produced first 3D video game 15 years ago. And since then, 3D has been a constant consideration in our hardware planning. What we searched for was a way to make 3D games a reality, a product for mass market. And Nintendo 3DS is our answer. Let me introduce you. Here on this part, we have installed the 3D depth slider to adjust the 3D effect. You can maximize it, or you can remove the 3D altogether, or you can choose any degree in between simply by moving the slider. We have also given a lot of thought to the screen itself. Because Nintendo 3DS is a successor to Nintendo DS, it naturally comes with a touch panel. As we experimented, however, we realized that finger marks and other smudges reduced the 3D impact. And so did the decreased transparency of the touchscreen itself. In other words, a touchscreen and 3D screen do not get along very well. Because of this, we decided to employ a touchscreen only on the bottom, just we did for Nintendo DS. And what makes the images so impactful is not just the 3D imaging, but the nature of the graphics. It's been 6 years since we launched Nintendo DS. So while we've now added 3D, we've also made improvement to the graphics capability of this hardware itself. Something tells me this alone might cause a lot of enthusiasm in the development community. Next, let's consider control. We've installed what we call the slide pad, designed for
yes,
analog
this thing. Circle pad.
We've also integrated both a motion sensor and a gyro sensor. I'm really hopeful that, just as with Nintendo DS and Wii, a number of new game ideas will be born to take advantage of these new control mechanisms.
Gyro Yoshi technology confirmed.
It has compatibility with Nintendo DSi. Nintendo 3DS has a camera too. But look here. There's not one, but 2 camera lenses on the outside. What this means is you can also take photos and view them in 3D.
Oh yeah, so like having a camera on the front and back of the 3DS, this was actually kind of an iteration of DSi. I don't know if anyone remembers that. DSi was like a later model of the DS where they added like a camera on it. So yeah, this was just like something that they iterated on for the 3DS. The original DS and DS Lite did not have cameras.
Nintendo 3DS is a mass-market device that lets you take and enjoy 3D digital pictures. You may want to try out this function at our booth. And I want to mention one more aspect. Nintendo 3DS is also capable of displaying 3D Hollywood movies. We are not announcing any specific plans this week, but at our booth, you will find demonstrators showing you 3D movie trailers for releases from Disney, Warner Brothers, and DreamWorks. You can see DreamWorks, How to Train Your Dragon, Warner Brothers, Legend of the Guardians, and the Disney's Tangled, all playing in 3D on Nintendo 3DS.
They never did put movies on the 3DS, like 3D movies. They did put like a bunch of other stuff on it though. Remember the Kirby Right Back At You special that was like in 3D? Like anyone remember that one that was like entirely done in CGI?
To our knowledge, this is the first time any such 3D content has been demonstrated without the need to wear glasses. However, in the end, gamers care most about games. You may remember an announcement we made in January 2009, establishing a joint venture called Project Sora.
Ah, yes.
It was led by Mr. Sakurai. Today, I can announce that Project Sora was actually established for one reason: to create a game designed specifically for Nintendo 3DS.
This is Kadikarus
We
Uprising.
felt such a project deserved to feature a character who is already familiar to many of you, especially if you've been playing games for a long time.
Yeah, this is Uprising. This game is amazing. I really should revisit this at some point. Maybe I'll do that on stream eventually.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
It's a shame this game never got a HD like remaster or something on the Switch or whatever. I'd love to see them like port this to consoles.
After that, your wings will burn up and you'll fall.
Even now, this is still a visually impressive, like, 3DS game, and this came out quite early in the console's life.
We must protect them. Hit. Prepare for land battle.
But yeah, this was a damn good game. The writing in it is also hilarious in a good way. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously. That's a very cheesy one-liner there. But yeah, I wouldn't mind revisiting this game. I forgot when it came out, 2012. I haven't played this game in almost a decade, Jesus.
Hurry, Pit. The people need your help.
Yeah, I think I need to replay this one at some point. Still one of the best games on the platform. Eggplant Wizard.
We prepared this video just for our presentation today. But of course, the only true way to appreciate the impact of Kid Icarus in 3D is to see for yourself. And we'll have 3D game trailer for you on the show floor beginning this afternoon. What you'll notice is that when 3D effects are added to gaming, the surprise it can offer is not limited to the characters themselves. In addition, there is a much better sense of the height, width, and the depth in your gaming worlds. And therefore, you have much better ability to navigate them. For example, in Kid Icarus, you can more easily judge the distance between yourself and the floating object. But it's not just the 3D graphics that make Nintendo 3DS unique. Communication can even occur during sleep mode, as Nintendo 3DS periodically searches for Wi-Fi access points or other Nintendo 3DS systems which are also ready to respond. It will then automatically communicate with them without you knowing it. You might remember Nintendox used a somewhat similar function. But in that case, communications were limited because if those owners started playing another game, the communication stopped. Nintendo 3DS works differently. The hardware itself supports automatic communication regardless of what software is being played. Nintendo 3DS can also communicate using the internet through Wi-Fi access point. Owners can navigate valuable information without having to do anything proactively. Even when you are not near a Wi-Fi access point, you may discover that new stages, new quests, ghost data, and the new rankings have already been downloaded. And we will provide this kind of very unique communication service in a way that can be used by anyone, regardless of their technical knowledge or their gaming experience. And there is no need to pay a monthly fee. Now, let me conclude today by returning the topic of games. Before Nintendo DS and Wii were launched, the majority of people in our industry cannot believe that these unprecedented ideas from Nintendo would work. So, in those cases, it was our job to build an install base, first by developing and marketing own first-party software. Very fortunately, the situation is different this time. We at Nintendo have launched many hardware systems. But in this case, I feel we will enjoy our biggest launch support ever from third parties. Of course, internally, we are developing several kinds of games. For example, Mr. Miyamoto is working on a 3D version of Nintendogs, and you are going to find it contains some new visitors.
I played Nintendogs on DS, but not the 3DS one. Didn't care enough for it.
But I like to spend more time introducing Nintendo 3DS software coming from third parties. Behind me, you see a partial list of companies who intend to publish software for Nintendo 3DS. I cannot name them all, but I do want to draw your attention to several of them.
Remember when Konami used to make video games? I kind of miss those days.
Attention to several of them. Activision and DJ Hero. Level 5. Square Enix, including Kingdom Hearts.
Wait, what Kingdom Hearts is that? Is that Dream Drop Distance? I still need to finish that game.
THQ. Electronic Arts, including Madden, NFL.
Yawn.
Tecmo Koei Games. Capcom and Resident Evil.
I think that's Resident Evil Revelations. That is a great game, by the way.
Warner Brothers Games. Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed. Namco Bandai Games. And Konami with Metal Gear Solid.
I believe this was MGS3 that came out on the 3DS. Snake Eater.
To all of you developers and publishers, I want you to know that I'm truly grateful for the support you are offering. Thank you very much. And to conclude my section today, I'd like to have some of these developers themselves describe their reaction and their experiences on Nintendo 3DS. Thank you for your attention, and please enjoy the show.
We've still got roughly 10 minutes of this left, by the way, but we're coming up to the end of it.
First impression, seeing the screen, can I use expletives in a Nintendo media briefing?
Oh hey, it's this guy.
このスクリーン見てくださいって言って突然
Brilliant.
A Hideo Kojima console.
I saw some objects floating in the air, and it actually made me want to pick it up, which I thought was really impressive for such a small handheld screen.
Oh, it's this guy. Future creator of Mighty Number 9. The game famous for pizza explosions.
3D screen will definitely have an impact on how we design games.
It gives people a whole new tool set to do all kind of different things.
まあ本当電車の中でメガネをかけなくて遊べるっていうのは強いなって思います。やっぱりそこにこう奥行きが出たおかげで。
Didn't Level 5 go defunct a few years ago?
というゲームをですね、3D で携帯するとどうなるかっていうのを今実験をしてます。
I never played Snake Eater 3D. I've only played like the PS2 version of that game. In fact, I streamed the PS2 version.
これは完全オリジナルです。ゲームとしてそこに秘められた謎であったりとかですね、もっともっと探求してみたいっていう部分っていうのが。
But yeah, Resident Evil Revelations was made for the 3DS, but thankfully there are HD ports of it that you can get nowadays. Like I would highly recommend you check that one out, like the first Revelations. The second one's also good.
Now the analog controller.
It allows us to have more precision in the controls of our character.
Hopefully Mighty Number 9 gets a second chance. It's going to be a tall order for that to like win back people's like, you know, interests after what happened with the first one, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind them trying it again as long as they actually did it right. Whatever happened to Red Ash? Wasn't that the other thing that Keiji Inafune was getting funding for? Where did that game go?
Thank you,
You played Snake Eater on the 3DS aside from the Yoshi dolls in place of the secret frog dolls you find in the game. Nothing's different.
Mr. Iwata, and thanks as well to all of our development partners. When we began this morning, we promised something for everyone. From Zelda to Mario, Kirby to Donkey Kong, Mickey to Dragon Quest, Golden Sun to Golden Eye, and Metroid to Kid Icarus. I hope you found something you're looking forward to. But we also talked about new experiences, and we believe nothing at E3 will deliver on that like Nintendo 3DS. Something you thought you knew perfectly well will now be perfectly transformed. What's added, literally, is a new dimension. All of you watching this on e3.nintendo.com, please stay connected because we've got more news and additional content coming up momentarily that isn't available anywhere else. I wish we could all transport here to LA this week so that you could get your hands on Nintendo 3DS at our booth. And when you finally experience it, you'll understand. Unfortunately, there is no way to adequately represent the Nintendo 3DS experience on stage. So we decided to try and communicate it a very different way. Let's see how this works.
All right. Oh yeah, I remember this video. Alright, goodbye, Iwata. I always love to do shit like this. Just these silly trailers, like, showing off, like, whatever. I think that was a stock sound effect. Whoa, check out the 3D graphics! Oh yeah, that's right, Star Fox 3D was a thing. Star Fox 64 3D. Yeah, they don't do stuff like this anymore. After Iwata passed away, they kind of stopped that. And then Reggie fucking dies. That's what you get for not giving us Mother 3. I forgot about that.
Well, that sure felt real to me. But I'm not so sure it did for you, yet. Even with this video, it's still not a perfect answer. In fact, we've spent a lot of time trying to convey the impact of Nintendo 3DS. But in the end, there's nothing like the real thing. So we asked ourselves, could there be a way to do that right now? And the answer is yes. We're going to let all of you here in the Nokia Theater travel to that third dimension right here and right now.
Okay, so what are they doing here?
And that kind of travel probably calls for a tour guide. So we want to take this opportunity to introduce you to the people who will accompany you, both at the show floor all week and right here.
Hey, look everyone, it's
Nokia
Booth
Theater
Babes. Remember
today.
those?
Here's how it's going to work. Our demonstrators are equipped with Nintendo 3DS devices that will show you how video game characters and video game environments appear in that new dimension. It's 3D right in your hands. So, for the moment, I ask you to please stay seated while they work their way out to you. The test drive on Nintendo 3DS will take place just on the other side of the camera riser behind you. The 3D sensation should be immediate. It requires nothing but the naked eye. No more glasses. And in order to give everyone the experience this morning, we're putting a time limit on your Nintendo 3DS time. What you'll be seeing is just a taste.
Look at all the
but be
3DSs.
assured, live gameplay will be available at the Nintendo booth all week long. Finally, also for those of you here on site, there's one other opportunity. Since everyone isn't going to be able to hold the Nintendo 3DS here at the same time, so we're importing another element of our Nintendo booth right here to the Nokia Theater. In front of you here, rising from the floor, are multiple gameplay stations to let you become the first people ever to put the playable The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword through its paces. So, enjoy your gameplay. There's no rush. The shuttles that will bus you to the next event won't begin leaving until 11 o'clock. And for everyone, when this week is over, we trust that you'll agree that Nintendo has once again raised the bar. Thanks again. Have a great week. Enjoy Nintendo 3DS, and please enjoy E3.
Right, well there you go. That was the Nintendo E3 2010 press conference. I mean, that one was better than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be like a bunch of casual bullshit. There was barely any of that, actually. Like, the closest I could think of that came to, like, you know, catering to the casual audience was, like, Kirby's Epic Yarn. I don't know, and maybe, but most of that was pretty good. There was also Metroid Other M, but we can ignore that one. Overall, that was a pretty, like, strong showcase for Nintendo. And, you know, Skyward Sword technical issues aside. And, of course, the 3DS was, like, a good closer, just to, like, show off, like, the new platform. Which, I remember when the 3DS first came out, it didn't do that well. Like, it came out with a lackluster launch lineup. I still loved my system when I got mine's day one, but I remember not only did it have a lackluster launch lineup and a launch window, but it was also expensive as fuck. And it got to the point where the console was just not selling that well at all, and people were complaining that it was overpriced, so Nintendo ended up doing something called the Ambassador Program, where the early adopters get like 20 virtual console games, basically to make up for them paying extra, because it didn't take long for Nintendo to like price cut the system, just so it was, you know, more palatable for people to buy. So yeah, I believe I still have my 10 NES and 10 GBA virtual console games on my system, because, you know, I was one of the early adopters. I was the Nintendo ambassador, a Nintendo E3 3DS ambassador. I'm good with words. Did you notice that? But yeah, that was something I remember, where the 3DS did not do that well at launch, but it eventually picked up steam once it got that price cut. But yeah, overall I would say that was pretty good. And I hope you enjoyed watching that with me. I'm not going to dilly-dally here for too long because I still have a couple games I'm going to be playing next. So over the next few weeks or so, I'm going to gradually check more of these Nintendo E3 conferences. Maybe I'll do the E3 Directs as well, because there's still plenty more of these that we can watch in the future.